Hello everyone, you have the two Dr. D's here with you today, and we have a lot we're going to share. So welcome to MIDC, Multicultural International Development Company show. I guess we can call it a show. To me it's a series because it's all about self-love for 30 days, for 30 minutes a day.
Yes.
And it's being hosted by one of MIDC's components, which we call We Network, which is the Women's Empowerment Network. So we want to welcome you here. We're so glad that you've been joining. Some of you have been here since day one, and that's amazing because today is day 19, and we're still hanging in there. We've covered so much ground as it relates to strategies on how we can tap that self-love, how we can enhance it, how can we use it to be able to not only strengthen ourselves in these I would say crisis, troubling times, right?
Yes.
But how can we then strengthen ourselves so that we can, in fact, be able to help others, right? If we don't have our health, our mental, our physical, and our spiritual health,
Absolutely.
How is it that we can be of help to others, right?
Get your mind right, get your mind right.
Yeah. So if you joined yesterday, we actually did a collective meditation. And this is something that really has begun with elders around the world. Many indigenous elders especially are coming together and bringing their knowledge of just higher level thinking and existence, and they're coming together, and what they are doing is they are tuning in their energies to be able to project that around the world, tuning in their peace, joy, love, healing energies. And they're doing that because they know how the body works. They know that the body and the spirit and the mind all work together. And so we are a part of that collective, a part of that wise women collective. And it's really, really growing. I just want to thank all of the women who are a part of the Women's Empowerment Network. Just thank you for being there and for being the strong women that you are and going through this boot camp process with us. I couldn't be happier to just know that you're there. I want to kind of recap before we start, Dee, with yesterday. I was really moved. The day before we had done gardening, and we had Konami on, and she talked about organic gardening tips, and we really related gardening and planting seeds to the seeds that we've been planting for the last now 19 days. And we've been planting those seeds in all different kinds of ways, very creatively, using the arts such as visual arts, such as storytelling, such as dance. We've even done soulful yoga. We've done just sitting and talking, and embroidery on different kinds of things. But how these creative things can bring us to be able to reflect inward and take a breath. We've been doing a lot of breathing exercises, and through that meditation, so we did the seed piece, and then I carried that over yesterday, segueing this concept of planting the seed to planting the seed of collective work and responsibility. And that really was all about us doing a session where we were breathing together. But I started that session off yesterday with a young black boy, 12 years old, singing a song about we just want to live, talking about black men in this world. We just want to live. So not only are we dealing with this horrific pandemic, we're dealing constantly and all the time. It hasn't stopped from the beginning of Africans stepping foot on these lands. It hasn't stopped. It's only changed forms. And so we're still struggling with that. We're still struggling when we talk about people of color throughout this country and the various things that we've had to go through. it's just time. It's just time for us to collectively lift ourselves to then figure out what will we do collectively. Protest marches and those kinds of things, we know that we do them. But again, we need to be doing more than that. There are other ways to be able to change the patterns that we've now gotten into around the world, and that's through our higher ways of knowing. And so yesterday, we followed that wonderful, I would say wonderful, not that the words would make you want to cry. And just to see that young man, it made you want to cry.
Yes, he was amazing.
But it was so moving that it was just a natural flow into being able to know how important it was to meditate, and how important self-love and getting to know more of who we are and what our powers are, as far as how we can affect change by participating in that. And so we're going to continue that. And just talking about, and you and I were talking a little bit before we started, just with regard to our, concern. And you mentioned something about what happened to you, and I thought maybe we could kind of kick in that way. We're really talking about, again, we're talking about the stress and the anxiety, and where do we go from here? And again, what we're trying to do is to build that energy to be stronger, but yet and still it still exists. And so even for us as professionals in our own lives with our own children, and I just thought it was profound what you mentioned to me.
Okay, so do you mind if I share?
I would love it.
Yesterday, the young gentleman that sang that song was amazing, and his words are so prolific. Can we just live? And what we find usually is that these things are happening to our young men of color. However, I don't believe those of us who have young women of color have actually sat back and thought about how is it affecting them? How is it affecting them emotionally when they see young men of color being cut down? So this happened today with me and my child, my daughter, my oldest daughter. We were talking about politics because at the end of the day, it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. And she said, Mom, it really affects me what happened with Mr. Floyd. And I listened because, again, like I've told you guys, we need to listen when our children speak, because I didn't know she was affected the way she was affected. She said, every time something like this happens, I feel like that could be me, even though I'm a female. She said, I'm a person of color. That could be me. That could be you dealing with somebody hurting one of your children, one of your friends' children. That could be me, Mom. So it hurts me. I worry about it. I get angry, and something needs to be done, as Karen is saying. Something so even our young girls, our young women of color, they have feelings about what's happening to, our people. Yeah. I'm a George Floyd. Karen's a George Floyd. Her children.
Or Sandra Bland.
All the people of color that's been cut down. And it hurt my heart because Nashanta she's an emotional being. And she's hurt. She's hurting. And she wants change. So again, let's get our minds right. Hurting each other, breaking each other down, fighting, causing fires, destroying. You guys are destroying what we build and what we have to go to for our subsistence. Yeah. So stop, think before you react, respond.
Yeah. And I mentioned yesterday when we were kind of talking about similar things, at least just building up to why it was so important to take that time to do the collective meditation yesterday. And I was remembering that, the very first book that I published, that was published through Students' Eyes, Combating Racism in the United States Schools, that was 1989. And I had a whole litany like Yusef Hawkins in 89. There were so many black men that were killed in that particular year. But I find every single time I publish, I'm publishing this long litany of men who continue to be, and mainly by our police, right? Law enforcement that are losing their lives. And so that goes back more than 30 years, but we know that it goes way back before then. And so this is why I think that folks are somewhat feeling a sense of hopelessness. And then you top that off with the COVID-19 and the idea of our climate change and what we're doing to the earth. And so it becomes overwhelming, not only for our young people, but for all of us in general, trying to live on this planet in peace and to express love toward one another in some neighborly ways. And so what we are saying is that it's going to take a lot of different strategies because of the fact that it's continuing to happen, to take different forms, that it's going to take a lot of different strategies than ways that we dealt with during the 60s civil rights movement. Again, what we're proposing with our Women's Empowerment Network, that we need to build the strength for all of us in those ways, again, that bring together the mind, body, and soul, so that our ancestor spirits can begin to guide us, because they're always with us. We stand on their shoulders. And so how can we listen through the heart and through meditation on what we need to be doing? I definitely think that there are more ways that, especially as relates to higher level thinking and understanding, that we're going to have to combat our nature for peace and love with this higher level understanding. And so that's what we're kind of all about. So I wanted to also address this sense of denial. Denial not only with what we're talking about as far as, we're reflecting on what's happening within our own, from our own cultural backgrounds. But at the same time, I say our own cultural backgrounds, but I'm also knowing that we are a race, a human race of people, right? And so I'm not just saying that it's just about, as we are concerned with, at a level from a standpoint of our particular culture and traditions and what's happening within our culture and how things just haven't slowed down. And they just keep, like I said, keep just taking these different forms, but it's still at that. But that's impacting all of us, along with every other. Yes. We're talking about our situation, but there are so many other situations. And so, but there's this sense of denial. There's this sense of wanting to ignore that, there is in fact a worldwide crisis. And how do we come together as a people? Do we just stand and do nothing and be defeated? Or do we consciously and intentionally make these efforts to say no more? That we are ready for a planet of peace. We are ready for a planet of love. How do we begin to do that? When we have many of our counterparts as human beings are saying and doing just the opposite. And oftentimes it appears that they're winning this battle, right? So we're really talking about denial today. Yesterday, we're getting ready where a lot of the cities are opening up again. Many have already done so. And the advice has been to be very cautious in the way that we do that. So, we're still requiring, I still see that many places are requiring to wear the mask and the gloves and so on. But yet and still yesterday, this is graduation weekend here for high school seniors. And yesterday we saw these, people everywhere without masks, without gloves, and that's denial for me, to say that we can walk around and we're right back to normal and everything is, as it was. And, I don't know, maybe you can just speak to that denial piece, because I see it in just every form.
I think we deny things because if we deny it, it means it's not really happening.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a form of dealing with the situation.
That's what I'm trying to ask.
Yes, it's a form of dealing with it. And again, it's like if you're not faced with something every day, if it doesn't hit you at home or you personally, does it really exist?
Yeah.
Is it the truth? They're just making that up. It's not that serious. I mean, I believe people think it's not that serious. But again, until it walks through your door and hits you in the face, you're like, oh my God. Then you want everybody to be cautious. So yes, denial, it's a strong thing, because again, if it doesn't hit home, you can be in denial because it's not affecting you personally. It's not affecting your life, right? It's almost the same thing as what's happening out there in the streets now. All of us who are people of color, we feel it. Mm-hmm. It affects us. Mm-hmm. Some people who are empathetic with what we go through as a community, they're standing up. Mm-hmm. But is that the majority? No. Right? Mm-hmm. Because again, they don't have to deal with it. It's our reality. It's not theirs.
But I'm even talking about us. I'm talking about the kind of denial that, sometimes we live in a denial because it hurts too much to be able to see the reality.
Face the truth.
And so, and I want to just remind some of our viewers, and some of you might, be on for the first time, that my field is in education, specifically in cross-cultural studies, anti-racist education, the arts, and then using the arts to creatively address these kinds of issues. And so Donna's background is in therapy, psychology. Right? And so maybe you can share that as well. Hi there. Okay. We have a visitor. Is someone else with you?
Oh.
Mama. Okay. All right. Well, this was my neighbor, and speaking about denial. Okay. We're about to hold on here. Here she comes. There we go. Oh my goodness. It's Qurantina. I didn't have a chance.
Wow, the place looks fabulous.
Yeah, it's coming along.
No, they can't see me. I was getting ready to go.
No, but you're going to the spa.
Yes, darling. Yes, darling. What are you doing here?
But you look fabulous. Qurantina.
Where is your mask?
You did not bring your mask again today. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Look at me. I'm invincible now.
It's not happening.
I can walk around and just, be me. Look at me. I'm fine.
Okay, you are very
That's my
fabulous.
angle. Oh, darling. I was looking for some Epsom salt, dear. I am just, so tight and tense from my workout.
Maybe you can just
in the neighborhood
deal with
with
her.
the nail mask. YOLO.
But you look fabulous in the
Take it
time
off.
of quarantine, and it's been quite a while since we've seen you, darling.
Yes, I put up
Living your most
where? Yeah, all in my head, my ego, darling. You want me to sit down with you?
Why don't you? Darling, sit down.
Oh, it's hot in here.
You're hot.
What are you going through? Menopause or something?
You're hot. You're hot. Qurantina.
No, we were just talking about all of the problems.
Oh, look at this. Qurantina
I duct taped you in the dining room, dear. How did you get
I
out?
hope you did not see that
She's like
video.
you, Dade, I swear.
I asked Qurantina to pull it before we all get arrested, where she taped her children as she was trying to get
No.
Anyway, I'm going to get you.
There's no violence here.
What advice would you give us today, Qurantina? Because
Advice on what?
we too are going through our stress time.
I was stressed. What does that mean? I don't even know
nothing,
this word. I've never.
What's the secret? What's the
secret of fabulosity?
Yes, darling.
Oh my goodness! I don't know if I want to divulge that actually.
Oh, can we get the tip? Can we get the tip?
Just the tip. Okay.
Oh, you want me talking like I'm British?
I don't know where I'm from. I'm Australian. I'm a little London. I don't know. It's just like I'm so well traveled. I just have like
you're worldwide,
a kind of
baby.
different dialect.
You're worldwide.
I guess the advice. Darling. My knickers. I don't want anybody to see my knickers. Well, I could just say part of my fabulosity is just giving 0 Fs, I guess you could say.
How do you give 0 Fs?
You know what? I've alleviated my ego. Can you please? You just spoke about a mask and everything, but you're quite.
I'm holding the
lavender.
She's close.
You are too close. Your aura and energy. I don't need none of that right here.
Maybe I should give you a 6
Well,
feet.
I have a mask for you every time you come over.
And you know what? They're busted. They're not fabulous. I want a little bit of Chanel, Louis Vuitton, you know, something like that. I don't want anything from the convenience store, darling. Bodega.
I don't shop at the convenience store, and I'm really just trying to get you to understand.
All right, sit down. Tell me a little bit about
Yes,
this.
come over.
I only got about 3 minutes.
I need
I stand behind you.
Yes.
I stand behind you 6 feet away so you can give her.
I love how you all have the same accent as me.
For some reason, it's rubbed off just like that.
Wow.
And I love the lips.
Who else takes a bath in makeup? I don't know.
I love the lips.
Can you hold your mother's?
Thank you, darling.
Oh,
Please divulge why I have to wear a mask. Why I have to follow rules.
it's not happening.
I don't understand.
It's not happening. This is all
I think
reality.
You have it, okay, dear? Okay. Well,
Please.
you know, I hate to be bringing this down, but quite seriously, I've lost a number of friends, colleagues, and family to the COVID-19 virus.
Really?
And every time I talk
I
to you
thought
about
this
the
was
virus,
all
you never
like
act
some
like you know what I'm talking
No,
about.
darling, I don't believe the media. I think this is like hypocrisy. I don't know. I don't believe it. I don't, you know, propaganda, you know. I
could
nobody I know.
too, but my friends, people that I know, have lost their lives, that are struggling to survive.
Really?
And you just, and then there's, on top of that, there's all these other issues that we're trying to do. So we're trying to be creative. I thought maybe you could join our group.
No, she doesn't get 2 Fs. How else can she maintain her fabulosity if she cannot?
I can't.
That's just
too much bearing on my soul.
What do you think here?
I need her to be fabulosity all the time.
I stay in my home. I come here. I just ask for sugar. I ask for
for just about everything.
I don't have visitors. It's just my children and my husband. I mean, why does it bother?
You don't need a mask.
I don't need a mask,
It's just
darling.
for your children. It's not
So
happening.
why is this important to me? I don't
not
go anywhere. I
happening to
order
her.
off of Amazon or whatever.
Exactly. And that's why you're in the dark. You don't know what's going on.
Okay.
Okay? Because you can't just come to my place and,
I thought you enjoyed my company.
I love your company when I'm in the mood for it, but it's hard for me to be around people who are in
That's why I have my
denial.
glasses on, darling.
Okay? Usually you're all dressed up. I understand you're going to do a spa thing. That's great because we're talking about self-love here.
Right,
and taking care. And you're the epitome of self-love. I think to the point of maybe some narcissism might be overflowing a little bit there.
Narcissism, smallcissism, you know.
Why don't you tell us about your
tomato.
self-love tactics? Qurantina.
A little bit of me. I just rise above. I wake up in fabulosity, as I mentioned, and just, I tell myself I love myself. Everything's going to be okay over and over. I listen to like my inspirational podcasts and, just like living this and oozing this idea of
Fabulosity.
Yes, exactly. So I don't know how it affects me. If I'm in my home, how does it affect me? My children are okay. They eat meals. I do lock them up.
Sometimes I don't. Right. Exactly. I don't know if our viewing audience has had a chance to just look at some of the videos of Qurantina, but they can be very disturbing. That she takes things so lightly.
We're not going to go there.
You take things so lightly, as though nothing is going on, and we're trying to say that let's practice self-love so that we can then
Can you give me a
love
couple?
the world.
Give me a couple of
Take
pointers.
care of
Maybe I'll
others.
think about this whole self-love thing that you're
Okay, why don't
throwing
you,
around.
can you try a breathing exercise with me?
Yes.
Okay.
I will
All right.
try.
Wait, do you need mints before we go into practice?
No, I won't be that
Okay,
close.
all
We'll
right.
just
Can I do it with you guys?
keep our distance.
All right,
here.
darling. Go.
Alrighty,
Go.
so if you just take in a nice deep, please, we need you.
Honey, I'm right here 6 feet.
Okay,
She's 6 feet
because you
away.
know what, she can go off.
She's already
She
fabulous,
has
so-
done some things here that
She-
I sometimes feel like I need to have some
Security.
witness and security.
Okay, you have video footage. You think I'm gonna
But
go there?
she's very smart too. And this is what people who are in denial, they can kind of make you think, kind of gaslighting. You know, it's kind of like making you think that
She
you're the
loves
person
herself
in
from
the
there.
wrong when you're trying to really change
We need to
matters.
find out how
right?
she loves herself.
So you asked for some pointers, and I'm saying if
It's
we
very
take a nice
superficial, love,
deep,
darling. That's all.
okay.
Okay, so go ahead.
So if we take a nice deep breath.
Do you want to do this with me, Phoenix?
And
Sit.
then exhale, breathe in through your nose and exhale through your.
Sorry. My bad,
Where's the
darling.
mask?
Sorry.
Mom!
I'm sorry.
Turn the lights on.
Sorry, I have a bit of an allergy problem. My ears have been running all week.
Oh my God! Get it out!
But I'm parched. I'm parched.
Donna, get the pot ready. We'll have to boil some orange
I
juice.
gave her a mask.
No,
She has a mask on.
but she hates the lipstick to touch the mask. That's why she doesn't wear a mask.
Okay, well, she needs to wipe her.
The last roll at Costco. This is like
And
one
it's not
ply.
even bounty.
It's not bounty. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. I'm
Okay.
breathing. I'm relaxing.
Here, can you please? I know this is beneath you, but would you hold on to that? If you're
Sure.
going to sneeze,
I
please do it
apologize.
into your robe there.
Sorry.
Donna, we're going to have to boil some orange. You know, if you're feeling as though you may be close to someone that could possibly spread this, you might want to think about boiling a pot of water with orange peels, any kind of citrus peels. Put onions in there, eucalyptus in there, some sea salt in there. Let it boil. Steam the house. Steam your nose. I'm definitely going to do that
Everything you don't
in
have
here.
at
I'm
home.
going to do that here
Oh,
as soon
well, I
as
have
she.
an orange tree, a citrus tree. Okay, so breathe.
Breathe.
I don't have a lot of
Okay,
time.
I know. You
Drawing
want to get your
my
bath
in
in.
the loo.
Alrighty. So
Kind of little.
bleed. Even her own daughter doesn't understand her. I mean,
That's all I don't know. I rented her.
denial. Oh my God. You see
All
how
right,
deep
all right,
denial
all right.
can be. Okay, so anyway, if you breathe in Qurantina through the nose and you exhale through the mouth, perhaps, you know, when you're inhaling, because it's a lot of positive energy in my house, as you can see. I have the candles lit. I have the lavender spray.
It's very boho.
It's very, yeah. Well, I hope that that's a
Bohemian vibes or
compliment,
whatever. Yeah,
right?
People are into that in
Um,
2020.
Yeah. So with that,
That
just
felt-
breathe
that
in.
felt
Doesn't that feel
good.
good?
Yes.
And then now exhale out all of that stale air. Oh, you're doing very good. Now, can you do that one more time? Inhale some nice fresh air, and then exhale. Were you an opera singer at one time?
Oh no.
Okay, well that's a good. She just did a very good example of how to really see. Isn't that wonderful?
I feel a little
It's
enlightened.
calming. It's wonderful.
Wow.
Wonderful. That's exactly
Prescription
what we
pills
want.
have worn off.
Yeah, and you don't need prescription pills. We talked about, using natural herbs to feel
To deal with my depression.
your depression. You don't need to drink. You don't need to take pills. There are
Nobody needs to
natural
do that,
ways.
darling. I'm always happy.
As I said, my neighbor, she comes over a lot. She's very much in denial. I think this really complements what we've been trying
you
to
for that.
address today.
Is there any other tips you can give for my child? Like,
Love her.
Love
And
her?
The one you rented. You said you rented her.
I did,
Okay,
darling.
well.
I have for another 2 months.
Well, in the meantime, I would definitely say do not tie up your children anymore, your renty children anymore.
Yes. Okay. Anything else? Like for my time?
Oh,
What I'm doing? All right. unconditional love.
Unconditional love, always.
that's
even
making
for
me
other
hot.
people's children.
I have two of my own children, but I barely see them. They're stuck in their rooms. Okay, so
barely
you're
see
saying breath work.
Okay, so do your breath work.
You're also
I
saying-
think in your case, you need to. I don't know what you said. You have shows that you're watching. I would suggest to become more aware of what's going on around you.
Okay.
You know, so
darling, my time is up. But please, wrap it up, darling. This is the wrap it up.
she
button.
intruded on
I'm
our
sorry, dear.
show.
I just came
Dr.
here
D
for
had
two.
to leave.
I came here for
she-
F's and salt people. She put me on her couch, and to be quite frank, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of this.
I know.
Where can I order a mask, or can I make one?
I try to give you masks every day when you
Okay.
come over here, and
I'll try it out.
you said they weren't Chanel. And,
All right, I'll try it out.
okay, alrighty. So if we can convince Qurantina, and I'm telling you, she's the hardest person to convince that there are some serious issues going on here. If we can convince Qurantina for change and to breathe and to know that there is something more than what meets the eye, I think that there's hope for all of us. I would hope so. What do you think, everyone?
Can I get the Epsom salt, darling? Thank you.
Okay, see, that's basically what you're...
Bye, you guys. Ciao. Be safe. Kiss the camera. No. I'll
Okay,
come back
Dave,
with this later.
if you
okay?
need to come back, you
Thank
can
you.
always come back. To the,
Thank you. Nice meeting you.
Nice
Yeah.
Qurantina.
Ciao,
Okay, all right. And are you forgetting your Epsom salt and your rental
Epsom salt.
and your rental kit?
Child. I'll come back later. 2 days from now.
Oh my goodness.
Take your rental kid.
I don't even know how to wrap this up, Dr. D. I don't even know how to wrap this up. She's a mess, like I'm telling you, but there are a lot of folks out here. You know, I mean, that may have been a comical skit, but in reality, we have so many of us that are just totally in denial for the things that are going on. And this is why things are staying the same. Okay, so we're not just talking about COVID-19 and how to protect ourselves as we get back out, you know, into our communities. It is a new norm out here, and we have to begin to accept that. Stay along with us.
Please be safe, you guys.
Please be safe. Please be safe.
And stay in reality. Please.
Stay in reality. Please continue your meditation. I want to, we put out a call yesterday that we would continue our collective meditation where we're sending all of that love, energy, and prayer to our communities and just trying to lift us all up to become stronger people and more enlightened people, because that's what it's going to take to really make the change that I think that we're all really and so deeply wanting.
Hoping to happen. We want to see it. No more stolen from Africa moments that we still keep reliving.
Okay, everyone, you know how we end this.
Yeah.
We always end with calling out our names and telling ourselves how much we love ourselves. We don't say it enough. There's enough people telling us that we should not love ourselves, that we're not worthy of loving ourselves, that we shouldn't be empowered to do anything in life. And so really doing this exercise really does go into the subconscious and help to rebuild this idea of not believing in ourselves and who we really are. So let's call off names. Steve, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Karen, Bernadette, Cardoza, McLean, Dade. Karen, I love you, and I just love you being able to continue to do this 30-day challenge for our wonderful folks who join us. Karen, Bernadette, Cardoza, McLean, Dade, I love you. Thank you for being there with me since the beginning of time until the end of time. Amen. Because it's infinity, baby. Okay. With great love to all of you. Thank you so much for joining. We love you. We love Qurantina, and we're
Yes,
gonna
we
work.
do.
We're gonna work with
She's
her.
awesome.
Okay, we'll have her back, and believe me, she'll be a changed person. Hopefully, the next time you see her. So, peace and love. We're gonna see you tomorrow, Saturday, day 20. Yay!